All of us who share in the celebration recognize that you are an extraordinary class who are ordained priests in an extraordinary year. You are an extraordinary class, since each of you brings unique gifts in a personal history to offer today to Jesus and to his people. You are already members of God's holy people, since you have been called from darkness into God's light. Now you are called to live for God's holy people as ordained priests. Clearly you are extraordinary also, because thank God there's so many of you. It's been a long time since the Catholic Church in central and southern Indiana has been enriched by the ordination of 6 priests. The dimension of this gift must increase the gratitude of us, your brothers and sisters in this archdiocese, beginning with me, to whom the pastoral care of this church has been entrusted. An extraordinary class, ordained in an extraordinary year. For the church is calling to you to minister to God's holy people in the midst of the great year, the great jubilee of mercy. During the pilgrimage of this extraordinary year, our archdiocese has opened holy doors and welcomed men and women, children, with the astounding gift of forgiveness. We have turned to God begging for mercy and have been strengthened as ambassadors of reconciliation. Since we recognize that God has torn down each and every barrier that could really divide us, we have deepened our commitment to build bridges, not walls. An extraordinary class called to priestly ministry in an extraordinary year. Since there are so many of you, it seems fitting that you listen to not one, but 2 popes. You have heard Peter exhort you, speaking as a fellow presbyter and witness to the sufferings of Christ, and one who has a share in the glory to be revealed. Peter reminds you that the service of a priest is never simply an obligation, much less a career undertaken for personal profit. Rather, your ministry is a free gift that you will offer daily, since this is God's plan for you. I think Pope Francis would want to get his 2 cents in as well. Just 3 weeks ago, he preached a homily at the closing Mass for the Jubilee of Priests. On June 3rd, thousands of priests gathered in St. Peter's Square. And the words of our Holy Father that day addressed 3 questions that he would certainly want to ask you today. Where is the heart of a priest? What is the joy of a priest? What is the identity of a priest? If we ask, where is the heart of a priest? We are in fact asking, where is his treasure? Jesus says with a certain logic, where your treasure is, there also will be your heart. What he means by treasure, of course, is not merely money or possessions, but what each one of us judges to be the best, that which we most eagerly strive to attain, that which we most dread to lose, that which, if we have it, we consider ourselves to be blessed, that which, if we lack, we know ourselves to be profoundly unhappy. The treasure of a priest is the same as the treasure of the great shepherd. The riches of the heart of Jesus are 2, the Father and ourselves. He divided his days between prayer to the Father and encountering people, not observing them or governing them from afar, or what would be worse, harshly judging and condemning them, but going out to meet them with a message and a touch that was always glad tidings for the poor, healing for the brokenhearted, a proclamation of liberty to captives and release to the prisoners. So too the heart of Christ's priests knows only two directions: the Lord and his people. Pope Francis described the heart of a priest as a heart pierced by the love of the Lord. For this reason, he looks no longer to himself, or should look to himself, but instead is turned towards God and towards his brothers and sisters. This is his treasure. There will be his heart. The joy of the priest is the joy of the shepherd. The joy of Jesus, the Good Shepherd, is not a joy for himself, but a joy for others and with others, the true delight of love. It is the joy of discovering the greatest love of all, which is not love of ourselves, but rather laying down our lives for our friends. This is also the joy of the priest. Francis teaches that a priest is changed by the mercy he gives. In prayer, he discovers God's consolation and realizes that nothing is more powerful than God's love. In this way, he experiences inner peace and is happy to be a channel of mercy, to bring women and men closer to the heart of God. Is there a sadness in the life of a priest? Certainly, my brothers. But sadness for him is not the norm, but only a step along the way. Sadness may enter the life of a priest, but harshness is foreign to him, because he is a shepherd after the meek heart of God. And what about the identity of a priest? Our fundamental self-understanding that allows us to live creatively, serenely, and securely amid the chaos, changes, and disappointment that enters everyone's life. In the Eucharistic celebration, we discover each day our identity as shepherds. In every Mass, we strive to make Christ's words our words. This is my body, which is given for you. This is the meaning of our life. With these words in a real way, you and I can renew each day the promises we made on the day of our priestly ordination. Nico, Matt, Doug, Kyle, James, Tony, I thank each of you for saying yes, and also for all the times you'll say yes in the days to come. Most of these yeses you'll pronounce secretly in ways that only the Lord knows about. I thank you for saying yes, for giving your life in union with Jesus, the chief shepherd. For in this offering is the treasure of every priest and the pure and lasting source of our joy.